Good morrow, ChavezzSlovakia.
How do you do?
If you give me a straw, I will lose it. I don't believe in straws. If they wanted me to have the straw, they wouldn't just put it in my hand. They would put it in the bag.
Your hand is like the safest place to put it.
I disagree. I need things with handles or like things that I can. I use the pile system in my life.
It's because you're not like me. If you hand me something and you don't give me instructions about like what to do with it or where to put it, it will just be in my hands.
She'll just hold it. I hand her food and then she just like, I'm like, drink it. She's like, oh, okay. I didn't know if it was mine.
I didn't know what was going on. I need explicit
cup
communication.
Yeah, I use the crumple method for things in my hands. So if it comes in my hand, I just naturally just fold.
So many tickets.
Crumple.
So many tickets and receipts that we need.
Okay, not so many tickets, like a few tickets.
Like every ticket I've ever let you hold ever. This is why we can't have children. Hand you a baby, just
start holding him. So here we are for more Internet Historian. It has been years and years of fun now. He kind of surprises us with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just kind of like springs it on us. Mm-hmm. Like that whole, I didn't know I was pregnant. He just like springs the baby on us.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking of something like, only thing I got was like cold sores. Like it just pops up like a cold sore, like whoop.
I think mine's a little better.
You didn't know I was coming. Here I am.
Some people would prefer a cold sore to a baby.
They both don't go away. Look at that friend with like that thing on his lip. And he offers you some chapstick, and you're like, I don't think I will be partaking.
Okay.
That is a sore on your face.
No, okay.
And that's what Internet Historian is like, but in a good way. Just imagine that, but it brings joy.
Oh my God.
So this is how I became fancy theater.
No, you said it wrong.
Okay.
I am become fancy. It's like
it says how I became fancy.
It says I am become fancy.
That's not a thing.
Yeah, it's like I am become death, destroyer of worlds. Like that whole thing.
It used to be a thing. That ain't a thing no more.
His name is Internet Historian. It's okay if he gets things a little old.
You're right. Let's do it. Let's get into it. Here we go.
Okay, disclaimer in the front. I like it.
Tisk, tisk, tisk. Look at you. Uncultured.
Damn!
Unsophisticated. Middle class.
Oh, okay.
No, don't speak. You'll just make me throw up.
Ew.
I'd say cover up with this dinner jacket, but I'm afraid that you'd get your head stuck in the sleeve and asphyxiate.
Help, I'm stuck.
Listen, lowborn. Don't you want to be refined? Don't you want to be fancy?
Yes.
Like moi?
Yeah.
That's French. I don't expect you to know what it means, but I have some good news. Before this financial year ends, I have decided to make a charitable deduction. It's you, champ. For you see,
We can have premarital sex.
It's virus.
What the fuck?
I'm so sorry.
What the hell? And she called it premarital sex. She's a demon.
Bro.
I have made several videos, though, which will show you how to bluff your way to the inner circles. Undetected.
To hang out with Mark Zuckerberg.
By the time the elites find out,
Neon Genesis Evangelion is psychological and intense.
it will be too late.
It's the anime sounds.
I get you in, you eat all the hors d'oeuvres, and we get out. That's the plan.
All right.
And let's begin your instruction with theater.
All right. I am become fancy.
Right.
This is going to be like a thing. We're going to do multiple like installments on how to like get us into the upper class. We can wear like our fancy outfits. I want a cob pipe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm down with that.
And I want
would
it to
like
make
a
smoke.
monocle. I don't know how the monocle and glasses would work.
You wear glasses,
but
you cannot wear a monocle.
I'm going to figure it out.
We're not
but
doing
also,
that.
I would just like to point out, here, he talks about eating hors d'oeuvres, which I feel like is tacit approval for me to eat during these videos.
Do you have any food with you?
No.
You have a drink? You can drink that.
Okay.
Sip it, pinkies up. How do you say I'm being fancy in French?
Je suis fancy.
Damn
I don't think,
right.
I don't think
It's
that's right.
Je fui, don't say fui, motherfucker. Mm-hmm. Tell him, nigga. Gang, gang. Let's go.
A YouTube premium of upper society.
Okay.
And the first section? Symphony
Oh, I love, yeah. This is great. Great place to start.
The first period of performance, that's called Baroque, from 1600 to 1750. This featured Bach and Vivaldi. Now, there was also a guy named Giuseppe Tartini, and he was the best one of them all.
Okay.
Because one evening, he had a dream where the devil showed up and presented him with a deal. The devil would become his teacher and impart on him everything he knew about music.
How to drop the bass.
Once Tartini had learnt everything he could, he handed over his violin and asked the devil to play.
Damn.
And he turned this bitch up. Yeah.
The devil played the greatest musical piece that Tartini had ever heard.
His ears bled.
Tartini woke up with a gasp, and he tried to recreate what he had heard in the dream.
Yeah.
And what he wrote down was his most famous piece, the best thing he had ever written.
Okay.
And he said, "This is shite compared to the original. This is nothing better than a tribute." And that's where you get the Tenacious D song from. He named this piece The Devil's Trill.
Yeah, Devil's Trill.
And he claimed that the difference between his version and the version in the dream was so great that he would have smashed his violin and quit music forever had he not needed it for his job. Classical, 1750 to 1830.
Okay.
Mozart and Beethoven show up like da-da-da-da.
That's how they showed up.
Now, Beethoven was famously known for going deaf. Once that happened, everyone told him that he should just quit music forever. But he just
Understandably
wouldn't
so.
hear it. Anyway, there's so much I could say about these two. Romantic era.
So Beethoven, he's deaf, right? So like, obviously, how did he write music?
Right. I figured he just like knew what music was supposed to sound like and went off of vibes.
So that's, a lot of people think that as well. There's also the setting the piano on the floor story. And like you feel the sound of the piano.
Yeah, like in the Bratz movie.
Exactly. You know, so you can like feel the vibrations. But there was also a story that said that he used like a pick of some sort. Some people say like kind of like a straw or like a tuning fork, and actually wedged it in between the notes as he played it. So he then would bite onto it to feel it in his brain.
So I guess I was technically right. Vibes, as in the vibrations.
I mean, if you want to go on technicality, you were the farthest from the truth. But we will accept that.
So much I could say about these two.
I won't.
Romantic era. Now that's when everybody started kissing, and it's my favorite. Great piece.
My
Mwah.
favorite.
Oh, you played wonderfully too. Mwah. We also enjoyed listening. Mwah. Mwah, 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 mwah. All you need to know about this one is Chopin and Berlioz.
I see the Mario Luigi thing. You can't just scoot past it.
They're related. Stop that. I'm tired of seeing that shit.
I'm done. It can't. Okay, look, the Mario and Luigi, the Sam and Dean, the
Sam
Fred
and Dean is
and
worse.
George. Okay,
Sam and Dean is the worst.
Stop it! Stop it!
Well, one caption was like, but they don't look related.
Oh my God!
All you need to know about this one is Chopin and Berlioz.
Okay.
Berlioz,
Never heard
however,
of
was
Berlioz
not
in my life.
getting any kisses. He was relatably, painfully single, living alone in Paris.
Damn.
The
That's
city
the
of
wrong
love.
place.
So here's how it started. He's there and he's in his early 20s, and he is looking for a new GF. So one day he attends a Shakespearean play, and on stage he spots an actress, and he immediately falls in love with
Bad
her.
idea, broskies.
He wrote her many notes, confessing
no.
his love,
Oh, no.
but her DMs went unreplied. So he began writing a symphony about her. How can she ignore this? And also around this time he started smoking a lot of opium, but don't worry about it. Anyway, so he wrote this piece just for her. However, his DMs still went unreplied. For several months he started to get quite disheartened. Until he saw another girl.
Oh my
So
God.
he immediately fell in love with her instead, and he said, you know what? I'm going to change that symphony I wrote, so
Damn.
now it's about this other lady,
Damn.
and not about
There's
that
no
ugly
way.
one that I didn't like anyway. This time, happily, she reciprocated, and they fell in love and were set to marry.
That's so sweet.
Suddenly, what the fuck? Phones haven't been invented
And then
yet.
the
Yes,
other
hello,
girl calls?
I'm busy. Oh, Rome? To study?
Oh.
Absolutely. I'll catch the first flight out. So, Berlioz went to Rome to study music. However, while he was away,
He
he
died.
got some news.
Berlioz. I have to tell you something.
Uh-oh.
Ah, shit.
What is it, babe?
Sacre bleu.
Sacre
Some
bleu.
other, more handsome musician swooped in
my God.
and married his girl while he was in Rome, and they ran away together.
Bro, he married, he was trying to date a groupie and she got swooped in? Are you kidding me?
Okay, look, I'm typically, like, normally I'd be like, yes, girl, like, slay queen. But that's kind of fucked up, Camille.
That's like,
That's kind of messed up, bro.
that's like, oh,
You
like,
know this nigga's lonely.
that's like, oh, you like a first round draft pick to the NBA? But like Dwayne Wade's already in the NBA.
Bro.
What the fuck?
She said, you're Antonio Brown. This nigga is Tom Brady, bro.
Antonio CTE Brown.
Berlioz was furious.
Right,
And he
yeah.
set his mind to solving the problem.
With music?
I know what I'm going to do.
You wrote a song calling her a hoe, didn't you?
I'm gonna murder her
Oh!
and her lover
Oh!
and her mom.
Damn!
And then I'm gonna do a self-murder.
Damn!
All right, so this gets pretty elaborate. His idea is to dress up as a housemaid. He has bought both poison and 2 guns. Now, he is going to sneak into the house of his ex-fiancée, and there she and her mother will be sipping tea, which he has already poisoned.
Damn!
Then he will pull off the clothing and reveal himself. Blam, blam, sad opening.
How do you say, like, I'm gonna shoot this bitch in French?
Baby, I don't speak French.
Come on, give me something. Give
I
me something
don't
close.
know.
Give me something close.
Je suis pew pew.
You sweet pew pew, motherfucker! Yeah!
It says, not a joke. This really is his plan as described in his memoirs. He would affectionately name the former mother-in-law to be as the hippopotamus. Damn! He despised her especially because he believed she had set up the whole Mary Wong plan.
It's the mom's fault.
Got it. Motivated to prevent Camille from marrying Berlioz because he was poor.
Because he a broke bitch.
Oh. Okay,
See,
but she
that's
she's
true,
just looking
though.
out for her baby girl.
See, that
bro.
makes a lot of sense too. If you know you a broke bitch and he not, yeah, her mom probably was like, "This is not gonna fly."
Right.
So he got the double guns out, like my dude, Death the Kid.
So he heads back home to Paris to do it. But while on his travels there, takes quite a while, he has to change carriages. And when he does that, he leaves the guns in one of the little
And the
cubbies.
poison
So he's lost all his weapons. What is he going to do
Strangle
now?
that bitch.
with his hands. I got nothing left.
Well, his next leg on the stop is Genoa. And he decides,
One hell of a ride.
you know what? Let's just skip the murder and go straight to the finale.
self-murder.
So he stops off in the port city of Genoa, and he's there at the side of the Mediterranean. He pauses for a moment, then he throws himself in. Now, some people see this whole thing happen, and they think he's had an accident, so they run in to try to save him.
Right,
They pull
of
him to the
course.
shore. He lived. So he has now reached his lowest point.
Yeah, now
He dejectedly continued.
Why are you laughing at his failed attempt at self-murder? Why are you laughing?
Bro, this man's life was unfortunate.
Fuck, dude. They saved me. Fuck!
He's home. He gets back to Paris, and he wallows around, feeling pretty sorry for himself.
As he should.
But he decides, you know what? I may as well do what I do best in times of trouble.
What do you do best, sir? You failed at
Smoke
everything.
a lot of opium. And while I do that, I shall write a symphony.
Okay, all right.
Although I ain't gonna name it after that hoe who stole my heart. And so he went back to work. But here's the thing. It was the greatest piece he had ever written. And it premiered to a huge crowd. And you know what? It was a smash hit. #1 on iTunes. But then, and here's a bloody plot twist. Remember the first girl?
Right.
Well,
yeah.
she attended that concert, and she realized that Berlioz was a genius.
Right.
And then she wrote a letter to your boy saying how good
boy.
bloody symphony was, and sorry about not replying, I just put my phone down and got super busy or whatever. By the way, I love you. And so Berlioz goes, well, I love you too. And a year later, they were married.
Oh!
It's a beautiful moral of the story. See, fellas, don't jump in the Mediterranean. Anyway, a few years later they got divorced. Because weirdly, he cheated on his wife with the housemaid.
What?
Not that one, a different one. But then he married that housemaid.
What?
Hooray. But then when he died later on, for some reason, he gets buried with both of them.
What?
Strange.
Hey.
But moving on to the Impressionist musicians.
The Impressionists.
Now that's Claude de...
Yeah.
The what now?
Yeah.
Claude de what?
The what?
I would like to say what I know about Claude Debussy.
Sure. What do you know about Claude Debussy?
Back in the day, Twilight comes out, right?
Right.
And Bella and Edward are doing their thing, staring soulfully into each other's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And then Edward plays some music, and Bella's like, oh my God, it's Claire de Lune. And Edward's like, oh my God, you know Debussy? And that was the very first time I had ever heard of it. And then I listened to that song, and I was like, everybody has heard this song. Why is he surprised? He was like, those guys were like, oh my God, you listen to rock music? I can't believe you've ever heard.
The same thing.
You listen to like, shut up. Everybody's heard that song.
You know what? You'd better go to ad time. All right, guys, welcome back to the Nord Stream.
What up, Nord?
Today we're playing Assassin's Creed 3. Chat. Come on, chat. Hey, oh, everyone's spamming Nord in the chat.
Nord.
Whoa, a new follower. Hey, welcome to the Dream Team Sub Cream. Thank you so much for great... Oh, unfollowed.
Unfollow.
Sorry, guys. The cleaners are here. Sorry, just ignore the mess. I haven't cleaned up these bottles yet. No, it's just tea. It's just tea.
Ew. Oh my God.
I stream for 10 hours a day.
Damn.
And it's like the algorithm is against me or something. How come everyone is watching Asmon's stream? And I'm not getting any new followers. I'm playing the games. What more do you want me to do?
Day 27.
Just a quick word from the sponsor. NordVPN is the VPN that you can trust. So go to nordvpn.com/internethistorian for a huge deal on a 2-year plan plus 4 bonus months for free, plus a 30-day money-back guarantee. My God. Today we are going to be watching the new Snow White movie. I love the intro. Oh, I love seeing that Disney logo. That's brilliant. Guys, I'm just gonna get up and get some food. I'll be back in a minute. What the f***? Who reported my stream?
Day 46.
Hello, my Nordlings. Welcome back to the stream.
Nordlings.
Can we get some ends in the chat, guys? No, not like that. Mods! Welcome back to the ASMR stream for NordVPN. Today I'm going to be drinking a can of Coke while I say the word Nord. Nord. Hey, thank you for the tier 3.
Nothing.
With NordVPN, I can be outside my house, Jack's Film's house, Samito's house, Ordinary Things' house. Just like that. Welcome back to the hot tub stream. What do you guys mean? How many hot dogs can I put in my mouth? What? I'll just... Oh my God, $5,000 donation. Thank you so much. You guys are such good friends. Streaming's not for me. I'd rather go to nordvpn.com/internethistory to get a huge deal on a 2-year plan, plus 4 months for free.
Oh my God.
And over.
This is hilariously the most tame Nord commercial we've gotten.
Absolutely, yeah.
All year long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody died in this one.
That's what I'm saying.
Watching Netflix, are
What the hell? Get out of my house.
All tucked in with a 3-hour essay on Good Game Good, and here's why.
Fallout New Vegas is actually the only based Bethesda game.
Turn that off. I've got something for you much less enjoyable and far more expensive. We're going to the theater. Theater, From the ancient Greek, theatron, the most dramatic of the transformers. It means a place for viewing. Here's a Roman theatre. They were quite simple back then. You have the stage, the auditorium, and the vomitorium. Now, for a very long time, people thought that the vomitorium was a place where the Romans would gorge themselves, where they would eat so much that they would throw up and then gorge themselves again because they were so decadent and or bulimic. But it comes from the word vomere, which means to spew forth, because that's where people go in and out. So vomitorium is just a dramatic way of saying the entrance. Now, if you skip forward to the 1800s, things are getting a lot more modernized. But they still didn't have electric. So they had what's called the limelight. And that's why they say, to be in the limelight, to be the star of the show. What they would do was take a piece of quicklime and heat it up super, super hot, which will naturally glow very bright. They would then take reflective mirrors and lenses to focus the beam, and they would use that as an early form of the spotlight.
What?
The limelight is not because it's green, but because it's made from quicklime. In the modern day, things are a lot more advanced, and they can do all sorts of cool shit with like lasers going into your eyeballs and all sorts of stuff. But it's not just the tech that's had an upgrade, it's the architecture as well. In Elizabethan times, they had the yard, and you could get in here for about a penny apiece. And this is where all the poor people stood to watch the shows. It's like when you go to Oppenheimer and you end up with the worst seats in the IMAX theater, right? But thankfully, in modern times, we have fixed that problem. We kicked out all the poor people, and we sunk the floor down low and put in an orchestra pit. Now, these things are usually 6 to 12 feet deep, so they're not obstructing the audience's view. But having a giant hole at the end of a stage is quite dangerous. So usually they put a big net there as well.
Smart.
And yet, a lot of people still get pitted. Like a lot of people.
Pitted.
In 2011, during a production of The Sound of Music, one of the lead actresses fell into the orchestra pit and was left paralyzed from the waist down. In 2009, a conductor, not a superconductor, just a regular one, fell 14 feet into the dark pit.
Oh my God!
And broke 9 vertebrae and 1 ankle.
He made a full recovery and wrote 24 healing hymns during his recovery. Now plays these hymns for the sick and elderly. That's a really cool story.
And 1 ankle.
And 1 ankle.
Mamma mia. And he fell on his pointy conducting thing. At the Bolshoi Theatre, a violinist died from his injuries after falling into the pit. This theatre is prone to all sorts of accidents, by the way. It's kind of cursed. But performers and musicians aren't the only ones falling into the pit.
Oh my God!
In 1988, an 82-year-old man fell from his balcony box seating all the way down into the pit during a performance of Macbeth. He died.
Right, yeah.
Very spooky. Even already dead people are getting pitted.
What?
In 2016, a man sprinkled his friend's ashes into the orchestra pit at the Met Theatre. This happened during the intermission, and it was a sort of tribute to a mentor of his. But of course, people went, "What the hell are you doing?" And he goes, "Oh, I don't know." And he flees the scene. Everyone's coughing and sneezing up dead guy. And people think, is this anthrax? What is this? So they call in the anti-terrorism police, and the whole show is cancelled for the rest of the evening.
Dang!
I understand wanting to honor your friend. You know?
I want to be a tree.
Maybe that was your friend's final wish.
Make me into a tree and then dump my soil in there. It's a lot less scary.
I'm not dumping your soil anywhere.
Fertilize the earth with my body. But what? I mean, yeah, he wants to dump his friend in a pit of people.
But
what's wrong with that?
I feel like you shouldn't maybe surprise people with dead body dust.
It's like a crop dusting, but with people. How do you want to go? You want like a full body burial?
Yeah. I want it to be very dramatic.
Yeah.
I want there to be rending of clothes.
Ooh.
I want ashes like on the head.
Right.
I want it to be very theatrical.
What about the smoke stuff they use at like Catholic things?
Yeah. I want it to be like super dramatic,
and
dude.
Do you want to be burned or you want to be whole?
I want to be whole, right? Mm-hmm. I want you to see my body, then
open
burn
casket, no matter what. Burn it on site.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I want people to be approaching not a casket but a funeral pyre.
See, I want you have to outlive long enough so my tree can sprout, and then you can be buried next to my tree.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say, and then use your tree as kindling for my funeral pyre.
That would be cool too. You can take a couple branches.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dry me out a little bit.
Right.
Here dries Josh, and then and it's a whole thing during the prep.
Right.
And then they toss me in. It explodes.
I don't know why there's an explosion.
It explodes with like fireworks. Make this happen.
Oh yeah. Okay, wait. And then there's like pyrotechnics in there.
Yeah.
So then when like the fire goes, it goes pew pew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Put you in a sparkler. I'm like, that's her left hand. Her right hand.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
We're done.
There we go. Sorry. Our death is going to be spectacular. Off we go. Fuck, dude.
A quick intermission.
All
Okay.
right.
I'll accept it. I'll allow it.
Or is it? Ooh, fiddle-tee-dee. I am the trap master.
Oh shit.
Not like that. Do not ask me to reveal my secrets, woman. I have dedicated my life to the mysteries of the
Never seen
theater.
Phantom of the
Ah,
Opera.
the theater. She has so many enigmatic traps.
Literal traps.
Let us start with the most simple yet
Hot dog.
devious.
Glizzy.
The wall trap. It allows the actor to walk directly into the set piece. Ah, where did he go? Nobody knows. Cast your eyes over here to the genie trap. Now the victim stands on this dumbwaiter, and a counterweight launches their hapless body up onto the stage.
Side?
That's
In the
cool.
olden days, this circle of flaps would sometimes go on top, and then that would make the whole thing just one way.
There's a real standardization problem with traps. When this covering is added, the whole apparatus is sometimes renamed a star trap, but the trap itself, the part that moves people on and off stage, is actually just the genie trap with the new covering. Although genie trap isn't quite accurate either because it's more of a colloquialism
Right.
specific to the Aladdin stage play, referring to the trap the genie character uses.
Right.
The better term would be spring lift, but in research we seldom found it used. Okay, good to know. Thanks.
Now, back when they made this thing, they didn't have hydraulics. So
Okay.
instead, they'd have like 6 stagehands pulling as
God
fast as they
damn.
could.
Manual
And sometimes
labor.
it would go totally wonky, or it wouldn't open properly, or they'd
Right.
only get about halfway through.
That's what I was looking at. I was like, dude, if you don't get all the way through that thing, you're getting stabbed. Whose idea was it to make them fucking triangles?
Chop in half.
There's other shapes you could use to do the same thing. Why are we using spikes?
Oh, well, I guess that's it. There's only 2. Wrong! This is the vampire trap. And if I want to come back up again, this is called the sunroof trap.
That's
Very
really cool.
Watch out for the closing doors on this one. It managed to trap Spider-Man's foot back into production in 2013. Me and the Green Goblin, we collabed on this one. All right, there's one more. The ghost glide.
Okay.
What you do is stand on this slidey bit, and it ascends diagonally, which makes it look like he's coming out of the ground. But the ladies are there yawning, they're going, ooh, short ghost. But then,
Going, ooh, short ghost.
5 foot, 5'1", 5'2", all the ladies are turning their heads now. 5'3", 5'4", 5'5". All the ladies are lovely.
Yeah.
Now, I bet you're wondering, what happens to the actors when they go down these traps? Are they dead and gone forever?
Maybe.
Yes, sometimes. In
What?
1888,
What do you mean?
Frederick Federici was playing the role of Mephistopheles in Faust at the Princess Theatre in Melbourne.
Those are all non-relatable words to me. What? Did what? Where?
Descended the trap at the end of the play. Goodbye, everybody, goodbye. He had a heart attack and died. Never seen again.
Oh my god!
So as you can imagine, with this many deaths, the theatre has
rats.
become a highly haunted place.
Eating
Oh,
them.
yes. In fact, sometimes you can put your ear right up to the wall and you can hear 2 male ghosts wrestling. Can't fake that. Another ghost hole. Don't look
ghost
inside.
hole.
I did once. Almost went blind. That's why I wear the mask. Anyway, because of all the ghosts, the theatres do whatever they can to keep the spirits happy. See this? It's called a ghost light.
Okay.
When everything is closed, it is kept on always. Kept on for the ghosts, so that they don't bump their shins in the dark or whatever.
Nice. Like my wife.
At the Palace Theatre in London, there has been some ghostly activity.
It seems to be a bit of a hotspot for ghostly activities.
And that's why they always keep 2 empty seats at the back, so that the ghosts may sit there and watch the show.
So that's why we traditionally kept a couple of seats off sale for the ghosts. However, Harry Potter is so popular that we sell those seats now.
Also, most theatres close for 1 day per week, and on those days, the ghosts are left to perform for each other in their own shows, which they like, we think.
I was worried about my own vagina.
Finally, the vagina monologue.
Nice.
Of other
vaginas.
I wasn't always part of the elite. In fact, from a very young age, I grew up in an orphan.
You're not an orphan.
I thought that's what he was going to say. I didn't know he was going to talk about people with dead parents.
Damn.
In fact, from a very young age, I grew up in an orphanage. No, my parents weren't dead. Rent in that building was just really cheap. But my parents showed me no affection. And as soon as they could, they sent me off to boarding school.
Damn.
But boards were always their passion, not mine. I tried to run away, but they caught me. And boy, did they throw the book at me. Alas, I did not dodge in time. I spent the next few years in a coma.
Damn!
A Native American town, Pueblo, Acoma. And the people there taught me how to read American. They also had a local library, and I spent my days buried in books.
So this is like half about you. It's like if somebody wrote like a good fictional story about you, this is kind of how it would go.
Don't be rude.
Yeah, they took creative liberties, as they say. Let's get that
And
done.
once someone noticed me buried under those books, and they rescued me. I knew I wanted to teach default character presets like yourselves.
Damn.
All about Shakespeare. Editor's note. I started Googling Shakespeare and I got kind of distracted, so I don't know. Here's a WAV file. You can do something with this. Put him in like a classroom or something. All right, attention, everybody. Nice. I am your new teacher. You are a bunch of troubled inner city youths. All you know is shoot gun, fail test, and crime. But I'm here to teach you that actually books and reading and stuff are actually pretty epic after all.
Like the basketball.
Now, the earliest known written language is what, Mr. Single Parent Household? I don't know, teach, but you're never going to get through to me. Oh, really? Well, what if I go back in time? Back in time. In the long, long ago, very few could read. But to be fair, most of the written languages were kind of shit. This is cuneiform, the very first written language, and it has far too much punctuation. Then eventually came along the Egyptians, and they invented emojis, but they would call them hieroglyphs. Anyway, the typical written thing would go like this. Message for you, sir. Big bird, man with stick, man sitting, circle. Oh, more bills. Eventually that became quite annoying, so the Phoenicians, who were a kind of Lebanese, very progressive, especially for those days. Now, they came up with a better idea. They started going, hey, that sounds a bit like an A. Buh. That sounds a bit like a B. Cool. And so on, until we had a proto-form of the alphabet. Now, the Greeks thought that was pretty neato, but they said, let's come up with an even better version with 22 letters, and soon that will be like English.
Not that soon.
Oral history. Greeks, more like geeks. Got 'em. Oh, yeah? Well, let me tell you about something highly relatable. Of the surviving Greek works, the greatest hits were the Iliad and the Odyssey. Now, because most people couldn't read, this stuff wasn't written down for a very long time, and instead it was memorized and performed. And when they performed it, they used one of these, a lyre. Now, this was great for conveying tone, right? So here's a soft bit, doo-doo-doo, but then this is a big dramatic bit. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Now, the Iliad starts with this guy, Menelaus, king of Sparta. And he has a wife,
Troy movie.
Helen, and she is a very fine lady.
God damn.
And then the Prince of Troy shows up. His name is Paris. And he goes,
Yo, what's up, Ma?
damn shorty,
Yeah.
a wooga, a wooga.
Yeah.
They look the same. They're the same.
Paris.
Rizzing her
And
up
he,
right now, baby.
Look, he's rizzing himself.
he goes,
Look in a mirror.
damn short, a wooga. Hey, that's what he'd say, right? And he and his boys abduct her
Yeah, they
and
steal
took her
her.
all the way back to
Or
his
she joins
crib
them.
in Troy. Now, this makes Menelaus quite myth.
Well, do you think she went?
Understandably.
Do you think she went, or do you think they took her? Tell me about what you think, because I have my opinion. What is yours?
I think
Yeah.
that it would have been very easy for her to not go.
Right. Yes. That's what I think.
I think that she was married to an old, ugly king.
Mhm.
And she was like, or I could have this young, hot prince.
Yeah.
I could just do that.
And who's gonna stop me?
Yeah.
Like, the exit is right there. Yeah, I would definitely believe, like, the story of Menelaus being, like, a brute, not a very good leader, not very well respected, just kind of has a lot of money and likes to punch stuff, is pretty accurate. And it was very clear, too, in the story, no matter how it's told, she had no outlook on, like, how this is going to affect my long-term plans.
0%.
Yeah, so I doubt that she'd be like, oh, I don't want to go with you for reasons. Look how it would affect the people.
No.
Young ass.
Hold on there, Buster.
He declares a turf war, but he can't win it alone. So he calls on
Gotta
his
call up the
homies.
homies.
Odysseus, king of Ithaca, and
We
Achilles,
finna roll.
the best drive-by shooter of all time. But Achilles is not in the mood to fight, so the whole of the Iliad is basically spent trying to convince this guy to get involved.
Please?
No.
Please?
No.
Eventually, they win the turf war by being very sneaky. They make a giant horse, which is the symbol of Troy, and they leave it at the front gate. That's their way of saying, oh, I guess you win. We're walking away now. And meanwhile, thousands of soldiers go off and hide in some bushes. Now, the Trojans are very suspicious, but they can see that the Greek ships are actually sailing away into the horizon. So they know, oh, it must be real, must be real. We've won the many years war.
Yay! Yay!
But
We
actually,
did
there's
it.
almost no one on those ships, and there's a surprise inside the horse. Later that night, when everyone's asleep, boiling hot tzatziki everywhere. And also some soldiers wearing thermal protection. They get out and they open the gates, and then everyone comes out of the bushes, running into the city and kill everybody.
Yep.
After they win the war, Odysseus heads back home to Ithaca.
Or so
However,
we thought.
on his way, he
tried.
starts
Yeah.
making beef
He
with
does.
He tried his
Poseidon,
best.
god of the sea. And Poseidon is mad at the disrespect, so he sends Odysseus on a long-ass detour, and that detour is the story of the Odyssey. Pretty epic, right, kids? Whoa, Teach, that's fire. I'm starting to come around. That Odysseus guy is literally me. Yeah, I'm going to try that horse trick on my ops. Homer from Homer's Odyssey is not a character in the story. He's the guy who tells the story, and then people wrote it down. Now, moving chronologically to the next big one, you've got the Bible. And for all practical purposes, this was basically an oral tradition too. Most people were illiterate by this point, and the Bible was written in Latin, and pretty much only the clergy knew Latin.
Yes.
I feel sad knowing that that's probably somebody's first time learning that piece of knowledge with, like, all the views that this is getting.
Yeah.
But, like, I was discussing this online a couple videos ago, too.
Right.
And people were like, oh, we do not talk about the historical accuracy of the Bible at all. Like, it is off limits to talk about in school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something that I talk about pretty often. Not necessarily like in my videos sometimes, but also with my friends, because my friends are all nerds. You know,
Correct.
But just like talking about how all of these interpretations of the Bible that we have come from like a specific group of people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it's not like everybody was able to read and understand.
Well,
it was actually considered blasphemous.
Thank you. Yeah.
Like it was actually considered blasphemous for somebody who was not in the clergy.
Dude, you have so
to
many
read the
stories
Bible.
in history of, like, famous people being tortured. and they just leave out the part where like, well, they were reading the Bible to people.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to do that part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They would be the one to recite it to people.
It says that the cute lady at the front should go on a date with me, please. Listen, the rules are the rules. I didn't say it. The book did.
There was a translated version into English, the Wycliffe's Bible.
Yeah.
And you better believe that thing was a threat to the order. Yeah. So they made that illegal to own.
Sure did.
What? And if you were found with an unlicensed copy, the punishment would be death. Mm-hmm. So it remained. The Bible was read to the people. Now, by the 1300s came Chaucer, who wrote the Canterbury Tales, and that was a pretty big deal.
Get this book
now.
Because it's one of the first significant works written in Middle English. It describes a bunch of people making a pilgrimage from Southwark to Canterbury, which is here to here, which was the longest journey anyone had ever made in the 1300s. Now, it's a whole series of stories, and most of them can be boiled down to, how come if everyone is on a pilgrimage, you're all so focused on material stuff? Oh,
right.
Hypocrites much? Dong.
What?
It's now the 1600s, and they've updated...
Wait a minute, what the heck?
I was going to ask, have you ever read the Canterbury Tales in the original Middle English?
Man, have I ever. I had to quit.
I had to. So I had to do it like in college, and I actually had to translate.
Mm-hmm.
Middle English sucks. Just to be clear, I understand there's a lot going on with the language right now that we might not necessarily agree with.
Sure, yeah.
Like when everyone was talking about, hated the word bay.
Oh,
when everyone hated the word bay. And now it's like, what is it? Back that gat up on the Rizzler or whatever.
Okay, what the fuck was that? You know what? You're right. There's a lot I don't. I almost disagree with that statement till you said that.
But there's like a lot going on. But let me tell you, back then, Middle English, that shit was nuts.
I had the smart idea to argue with the teacher, like, oh, we should at least be looking at Shakespeare like that. We should definitely do it with the Canterbury Tales. And she's like, it is not the same thing. Good luck.
No.
And I was like, yeah, we quit.
It was literally part of a final. It was part of a final. Yeah. I had to translate sections
It is literally easier to translate Latin than it is Old English.
Yeah.
Literally.
English to regular. In 1601, King James I said, all right, you know what? Let's everyone have a copy of the Bible they can read. Let's do a King James Bible. I won't feature in it, but I'd love to be in the title. And he commissioned a committee of scholars to rewrite the thing in English.
Yep.
God's language. It took 8 years. And that brings us to Shakespeare. And he's a huge deal. Oh, look, we're out of time. But sir, we're supposed to do penis inspection day
today. Bro, what the fuck,
No, there's no time. Roll the end card.
What?
The
end.
No.
So this is going to be a real series.
That's the lesson. You watched the whole video. Or at least you had it on in the background while you scrolled your phone.
Don't disrespect me. I have been engrossed in this video, okay? I am invested.
And I couldn't be prouder of you.
Thank you.
There's just one more quick thing I want to tell you about. Theater props.
Oh, okay.
For example, this gun. Now, the thing... Oh, look who it is.
Yes!
No,
I know what you're thinking, but it's just an actor.
No,
we all know that the real Lincoln is dead. When he fell asleep on the tracks of the Underground Railroad.
What?
Anyway.
What?
This thing is super realistic. Although the trigger is a little loose.
Ruh-roh. Add this? Why did you add that to the end? What the fuck is that?
I can't believe you did that. But I won't tell anyone. And, in fact, good news. I'm going to make you my little protege.
Oh, okay.
And I will be your protozo. And I've got so many more lessons to teach.
All right.
What did you... Bro.
Still here, huh? Yes, just a little cleaning. More good news. Next video is almost done. It'll be on incognito mode, and it's about the arts. And the next main channel video is also nearly done. That'll be out shortly after. If you're looking for more content in the meanwhile, we have another channel called Story Mode. The Metal Gear Solid and Forspoken videos are especially good. Don't forget NordVPN. Thank you for watching. More soon.
Bro, what possessed him to make that the ending? So I have so much more I wanted to add during the Odyssey and Troy portion.
Yeah.
You know, with the Achilles story, he didn't drag Hector's body around. I'm sad about that.
Right.
They didn't go in the town and get stuck in the maze. He didn't talk about Homer and Herodotus, the evolution between black and white history, colored history, and us just filling in the blanks with making shit up.
Yeah.
And those are things that are very interesting to me. And I would love to get into it at some point in time. But I feel like this was the video for it.
The focus was on theater.
Right.
Not on history.
Right.
I feel like that's why he didn't get bogged down. We didn't even talk about Shakespeare.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's just so much that went on in between it. But, you know, creative liberties have always been a thing. And that's what I'll say about that.
So, my experience with a theater, very limited, okay? When I was younger, I saw several productions of The Nutcracker.
Nice.
I saw one production of Rumpelstiltskin that scared the shit out of me.
That sounds terrifying.
Yeah, it was terrible. And then I didn't see any theater until you took me to go see a musical.
Right. And it was the perfect musical for you.
It was called Six, and it was about Henry VIII's wives, and it was great, but like...
And it was on the day of our anniversary, the same day.
The exact same day.
It synced up perfectly. I got us like front row seats.
I think it was the last show, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was our last show. We got to sit in the front. You know?
So that's my whole experience with theater. I know generally like, oh, you're supposed to dress up for the theater. For the record, there were a lot of people in there wearing jeans, made me mad.
We looked fantastic.
We looked great. High five. But that's my experience with theater because I didn't go to public school. So I didn't have to deal with theater kids. I never saw plays. So my experience with theater, very, very limited. What about yours?
Yeah, pretty extensive. First played in an orchestra, and then when you get into chamber orchestra, you start playing in a couple
so you were
of
like
theaters.
in it. Got it.
Pinocchio. I did Pinocchio, The Lion King, and then Little House on the Prairie.
That was my favorite book series as a child.
Yeah. Pretty good play.
They made a play?
Yeah. Played here in Vegas.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Huh.
Really shitty music though. Not really a whole lot to do for us.
Did you have? Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Very old timey. The violinist played the fiddle. I don't play the violin. I play the fiddle. It's the same instrument, you loser. We'll see you guys in the next one. If you want to join us in the theater, feel free to come down. We have that thing, the theater thing called something, and it exists down here. The name of the theater?
Smith Center.
The Smith Center. Join us for some stuff. You can see something for like 20, 30 bucks in there.
Yeah.
Probably weekly.
They got some good stuff in there.
Amazing vid. It's been almost an hour, so if you're still awake after this, don't be. Take a nap, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.